Hello, hello, hello. What ho? Welcome back to another exciting adventure of the Plain Truth. I'm your host, Travis Finley. This is going to be another rant. This is actually like take 5 because every time I start this and start reading, I just get distracted by the frustration that I have with the ignorance that is out there. This is a rant against superior mirages. Superior mirages do not exist the way that they've been explained to us. Okay, so I'm looking over, I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible, but this is from the hyperphysics entries on Mirage, superior images and false horizons. This discussion right now follows the entry that he has for mirages. Okay, so mirages, and then the first thing he addresses is the vanishing line for the so-called inferior mirage, and then the next section has to do with superior images. I don't know why he didn't say mirage because it's confusing as to whether or not. Anyway, well, I know why. I know why, because he makes this qualification in just a minute. You'll see it. So okay, so superior mirages and false horizons. The insert that you're looking at right now with the diagram and then the overlay both come from this same page. Okay, so I got the image of the sailboat to overlay on top of this. So notice that he's saying it's a superior image. He doesn't call it a superior mirage, okay? But you're still seeing over the curve. See, what's interesting, oh my goodness, this is just totally coming together right now. Okay, so here's what it says about this image. A superior image can be produced when warm air exists over cold water. That's the same qualification for a superior mirage. Again, using the pattern from Greenler, the vertical scale and the curvature are greatly exaggerated to show the effect. Such images are often seen at great distances in the Arctic region where the air is significantly warmer than the water. Since the geometry of the mirage image depends on the details of the temperature contour, a great variety of mirage images can be formed. Do you see what he's conflating these two concepts? This is a PhD who can't even seem to communicate. This image in this diagram is not a superior mirage. But then at the very end of this entry, he uses the term mirage images. So the concept that this insert with the overlay is trying to depict is that the only reason why you're seeing this boat is because it's over the curve. Okay? That's the idea. You shouldn't be able to see it. Well, I'm looking out straight ahead and all I see is water. All I see is water, 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 water. And then there's sky. And then a boat floating in the sky with no mirage. Whatever the hell is that? Well, that boat must be on the other side of the earth, and refraction is just lifting it up, and it makes it look like it's like magic, right? That's the idea. Okay, so he's got this section on superior images, and then it goes straight into the superior mirage may appear as an inverted image, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting because he makes a qualification that I thoroughly appreciate and have yet to see anyone else say this. Okay, so this is talking about the overlay that I have in this screen right now on top of, right? So I'm giving you a visual demonstration of what we see in reality on top of this guy's diagram. All right. YouTube videos on boats floating in air and other phenomena show examples of false horizons. Okay. It's not the horizon. Listen to what he says because this is what I've been saying for the past 4 years. Such superior images are sometimes referred to as looming or as fata morganas. And again, this is just bad information. So this is why I'm making this video and these superior mirage videos is for people who go and search for superior mirages, but they don't have the the right information in terms of how to understand, because you'll see different pictures. You'll see pictures of superior mirages with mirages, and then you'll see superior mirages with pictures of boats without mirages. The pictures with boats without mirages are not superior mirages because they don't have a second image that's inverted. So this sailboat that you see on this insert right here is not a superior mirage because there's no inverted picture below it. Okay? So what does this then qualify as? It qualifies as a false horizon. Listen to what he says. Such superior images are sometimes referred to as looming. Looming may be distinguished from the missing horizon phenomenon by the fact that the water level rises with the ship. Do you get that? The water level rises with the ship. So this image of this boat, he knows and understands is sitting on water. We just can't see the water because the condition of the day has changed the polarization of the light at that angle, right? Now, he doesn't go into the explanation of it right here, right? This is not like, okay, look, an image like this boat that appears to be floating in midair may not be classified as a mirage, but as a missing horizon. See, he's mixing, it's a false horizon, it's a missing horizon. This is just not good. This is just not good science. All right, this is editing Travis right now. So what I'm trying to depict is that he is able to understand that this boat isn't being projected up from behind the curve. He says, we know the water goes to where the boat is. He just said that. We know the water rises with the boat. We just can't see it because it's behind the phenomenon. Okay? So, why isn't that the understanding for an alleged so-called inferior mirage? It's the same explanation. The water continues to rise with the boat. The boat is apparently rising optically, and so would the water if we didn't have the refraction event that we do have. So again, in this statement, this is getting more and more on my side of how I've explained things over the past 4 years, and now we have this um, inference that we can draw from what Dr. Nave says here and what I've been saying. We can infer that we're talking about the same thing, except for the fact that when he's looking at an inferior mirage, he doesn't think the same thing that he does for the false horizon. Why? Because the inferior mirage has a real horizon in his mind. That's where he's not making the connection. He should say as well as what Dr. Andrew Thomas Young said, but he didn't. See, I'm the one that is pulling all of this together right now. I'm pulling all of this narrative together right now. Okay? Andrew Thomas Young unequivocally says that the limit to the inferior mirage at sea forms the apparent horizon. That means it's a false horizon. Just like the false horizon with the ship that doesn't have an image. It's the same principle. If the water rises with the boat in the one, the water rises with the that's where the curve of the earth is. No, don't you know Andrew Thomas Young? He says that the apparent limit to the water that you see when there's an inferior mirage, that's a false horizon. He didn't say it that way, but he said it. Okay, that's the important thing to understand right now at this point. And I'm going to try to wrap this up because I really need this really needs to get out, and I'm not going to have time to put fancy pictures up with here. It took me a long time to do this one, so I hope that you appreciate it. I hope that you will support the show. I really am um, excited to stay here in Milwaukee another week. Like I said, I'm staying anyway. I'm just asking if you want to participate, if you want to contribute in any fashion. Anything will help. I've got fuel. I've got to pay for where I'm staying. I'm not making any money working, but I've got money that I'm spending. You know, in this way. This is what I believe in. So I hope you believe in it too, and I'd love to see your comments at the end of the show. Well, whatever this is. All right. Check you later. The refraction plus the reflection and haze may obscure the view of the horizon. See, he has no problem saying that. But does he talk about that with inferior mirages? I don't think he does. Now, Andrew Thomas Young did in the previous video that I made just, earlier today. All right, so I've got another thought to add to this because it was still talking about looming along with this concept of the missing horizon or the false horizon, because it's the same thing. You're just looking over distance, right? This is the whole thing that we need to flesh out here, because if you can see a ship out on the horizon that isn't separated from the horizon, but again, you'd have to have such superior eyes or focal length to see this, right? You can't see this with your naked eye very often. There are certain things that do happen, but again, the detail with a ship is much more acute, and so I'm trying to say that kind of detail would be impossible without a high-powered lens. But when you look out over the water then, and you know that there's a ship out there on the horizon, in my world and in the globe world, that's looming, because you're seeing farther than you should. That's why looming was created. Looming was created because you are seeing farther than you should, but you see all the way to the target. As opposed to this false horizon ship, which you shouldn't see, so you're seeing farther than you should because it's lifting up. Both looming and this superior image is conceptually being brought up from behind the curve, except for the fact that Dr. Nave right here is debunking what everybody seems to be assuming. And he's saying that we know that this is a false horizon, because that's not where the water ends. It continues to go and rise up with the boat. That's what I've been saying for the past couple of years about the inferior mirage, except he doesn't understand the correlation between the two. Except the inferior mirage has an inverted image, so that just adds to the confusion. But I hope that it's clear right now that he just debunked the assumption that you're looking at a ship that's being brought up from behind the curve. Okay? So looming is the only thing that brings things up from behind the curve. Oh, well, then if you keep reading in this section with the hyperphysics, you'll see that it says that superior mirages are also looming. Right, because they're conflating these concepts. They don't know how to even govern their own thoughts on the stuff that they're putting out there. It's absolutely crazy. And I've been saying this for so long. I just am beside myself with the fact that I'm now, in my opinion, finding confirmation that my interpretations have been correct this whole time. And the science is out here. It's just hidden in code. This is crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that Dr. Nave is a code writer per se, but I'm just saying he's not putting the pieces together. So the mystery is still out there to understand how these things can be refined. And I'm the one doing it. I'm the one talking about it. All right. Well, I have a few moments to kill toward the end of this video as this scene plays out, but the conditions that I have observed looming is when I see more distance. I'm not going to say I'm seeing farther, because when I have an inferior mirage, I'm still seeing the same distance. That's Earlville, 9 miles away. In the inferior mirage and without, it's still the same distance. But in terms of how that distance is presented to me, the viewer, depends on the conditions of the day. Looming extends the floor and drops it down into a massive, massive, massive demonstration of foreshortening. And then when you get out that far on that horizon, your angular resolution and the dissolution of light is going to just not cooperate with giving you straight lines and edges and whatnot. Okay, so we have to be aware that like, oh well, what, like, well, when you have really severe refraction, that's all the time. Okay, it's always an austere mistress. And when there's a mirage, that's high refraction. When there's looming, that's high refraction. Why? Because they're both they're opposed to each other. They're not within the same category. You can have a severe mirage. You can have an acute mirage or an obtuse mirage, but you can't have, oh, this is severe weather for an inferior mirage, but not for looming. No, they're both in their own category, and they are both extreme examples of refraction. All right, see if I killed enough time with that one. Check you guys later.